The man I was going to marry, Tom, said something troubling right before our wedding. Women should just take care of the house and children after getting married. A wife should obey her husband, right? This was during a TV show about successful businesswomen. I decided to marry him, but I kept a secret plan. Tom kept telling me, "Make sure you listen to what I say. The man of the house is me. Don't talk back." His old-fashioned ideas about men being in charge became more obvious. He said all the housework, childcare, and even taking care of others were my jobs. He wouldn't accept anything less than my best. When I asked what would happen if I failed, he laughed and said divorce. Then he mentioned I'd owe him $660,000. I asked how I could pay that. He said, I have no choice but to obey him. Tom was in for a surprise. Before we got married, I kept a big secret from him. I owned 3 buildings. So when he talked about $60,000 like it was a lot, I told him I could easily give him $6 million if needed. He didn't believe me. When we eventually divorced, I decided to pay him that $6 million. Tom's attitude changed completely. He begged for forgiveness. My name is Julie, and I turned 34 this year. My husband, Tom, is 10 years older than me. Because I lost my father when I was young, maybe I saw a bit of my late father in Tom. We met through a friend. Julie, you like older guys, right? My friend asked. There's someone at my workplace who might be your type. Want to meet? Sure, I'll give it a try, I said. That's how I met Tom. He was 10 years older but looked young, and we got along well. Thanks for coming to see an old guy like me today. I enjoyed our conversation. Would you mind meeting again? Tom asked. Yes, I'd like that. After just a 2-hour dinner, we felt a special connection. We started meeting weekly. After 6 months, Tom proposed, and I said yes immediately. Are you sure about me? He asked. Of course. Tom was incredibly kind. I felt spoiled by his attention. As time passed, I started thinking about marriage. Then my mother called. She needed to talk to me about something. Julie, my father used to run a construction company before he passed away. It was a big business, but after he died, it went to my uncle, who was the vice president. My mother inherited my father's real estate properties and asked if I could take over managing them. She looked exhausted, and it was hard to say no. You're the only one I can rely on, Julie, she said. But what do I need to do? I don't really understand. It's okay. I'll teach you step by step, I assured her. I agreed to help because it was my mother's request. As I officially took over the real estate, Tom proposed to me. I was thrilled and accepted immediately. But things changed after we got engaged. One day, while watching TV at my house, Tom made a troubling remark. Women should just stay at home after getting married and take care of the house and children. A wife should obey her husband, right? Yeah, I guess, I muttered, caught off guard. The TV was showing successful businesswomen, highlighting how married women contribute to society. But I'm working right now, aren't I? Oh, I forgot to mention, but you'll quit your job, right? Tom said casually. What? That's obvious, he added. I was confused because he had never shown such an attitude before. Then Tom made another comment that shocked me. I hate women who have unnecessary assets like that woman on TV. Why? I asked. After getting married, it's normal to support your husband, right? He replied. His words made my heart race. Tom then mentioned meeting my parents, leaving the decision to me. After Tom left, I called my mother immediately. Tom and I are planning to visit you soon, I told her. We'll be expecting you. My mother said about the inheritance I recently received. If you want to keep it a secret from Tom, that's okay. I was scared to think about what would happen if Tom found out. I felt trapped because I had already accepted his proposal. Apart from this issue, I thought Tom would be the ideal husband. As time passed, Tom's views about women became more extreme. Make sure you listen to what I say, he told me on the first day of our marriage. His old-fashioned ideas about male superiority got stronger. I'm the man of this house. Don't talk back, he said. By this point, I had quit my job and become a full-time housewife. I wasn't planning to talk back anyway. Good, Tom said. From that day on, I became more cautious around Tom, always following his lead. However, something joyful happened in the midst of this life. 4 months into our marriage, I discovered I was pregnant. You're pregnant. Well done, Tom exclaimed. Thank you. Now I'm going to be a father, I said. Tom was very happy, and seeing him like that made me smile too. During my pregnancy, he took care of me, and I thought this wouldn't change after giving birth. But then things shifted. Now that our baby's born, make sure you do all the housework and childcare, Tom said. What? Aren't you going to help? I asked. I work. Everything inside the house is your job. Okay. I was speechless at how much Tom had changed. With a newborn baby, I couldn't argue much. We named our baby girl Lily. True to his word, Tom barely participated in childcare. The only time he got involved was when friends visited, and that was just for appearances. Have you been neglecting the housework lately? Tom asked sharply. No, I'm doing everything, I replied. Tom stood up from the sofa, walked to the window, and ran his finger along the window frame. How is this being done properly? He said, noticing a slight dust on his finger. I'd almost wanted to retort, feeling like he was a nagging in-law. I never thought you'd be a woman who couldn't even do this properly, he continued. Lower your voice, please. Lily will wake up, I whispered. Don't talk back to me, Tom said, raising his arm threateningly. Just then, Lily started crying, and he stormed off to the bedroom. I picked up Lily and spoke to her gently. Did you help me? Thank you, I said, and she soon stopped crying. This moment made me decide to protect Lily no matter what. Tom and I talked less, but one day he came home smiling. I tentatively asked, something good happened. Yeah, kind of. My mom's health is improving, he said. His mother had always been frail and often hospitalized. I thought it was just another update about her, but it was more serious than I expected. Mom's coming back home, but I'm still worried about her, Tom said. That makes sense. Hey, don't talk like it's someone else's problem. You're going to take care of her, he continued. Take care of her? You mean you want me to look after your mother? I asked. You catch on fast, he laughed. At least once a week, go check on her. I've already told her. This is so sudden. You're not planning to abandon her, are you? I asked. Of course not, he replied. I had no choice but to agree, since the message was already conveyed to my mother-in-law. The next Saturday, I went to her house with Lily. When we arrived, my mother-in-law greeted us with a smile. Welcome, Julie. Sorry to make you come all this way, she said. No problem. How are you feeling? I asked. Thanks to you, I'm doing well, she replied. That's good to hear. I brought Lily today, I said. Although I was upset about Tom's unilateral decision, I didn't dislike my mother-in-law. Time with her became a precious respite for me, and it seemed to be the same for her. Our bond deepened after I started visiting her regularly. One day, she suddenly apologized. I'm sorry, Julie. Why the sudden apology? I asked, surprised. It's about Tom. If you're unhappy, you can leave him, she said. What? I never expected such words from her. Though I never complained about Tom. Perhaps she sensed something from my expressions. I can tell, even though you don't say anything. I see my younger self in you, she continued. My father-in-law had passed away from an illness about a year before I got married. I had never met him and knew little about him, just vague stories from Tom. You had a hard time too, didn't you? Back then, it was even worse, she replied, smiling but with a hint of regret. So what's it really like with Tom? Well, I hesitated. That reaction means it's pretty bad, huh? She sighed. Don't hold back, it's just us here. So I told her everything. She listened without interrupting. I had no idea it was this bad. What should I do? It was like a life consultation, she said. Like I said before, don't suffer in silence. I don't want to see you in pain. Thank you, I said. That conversation made me seriously consider divorce. You can always talk to me, and of course, I won't tell Tom, she assured me. Most people would naturally take their son's side, but she was different. Perhaps she sympathized with me because we shared similar experiences. It felt good to have her support. When I got home, Tom was drinking. "Hey, you're back. I'm out of booze. Go buy some." "I need to put Lily to bed first," I said, heading to the nursery. "Your husband comes first," he yelled. Turning around, I saw him throw the beer can he was holding. I didn't have time to dodge. Fearing the can might hit Lily, I instinctively shielded her. The can hit my back, but fortunately, I wasn't seriously injured. "What if you hit Lily?" I demanded. "What? It's your fault for being there. I just threw it. You're the one who got in the way," he snapped. I glared at him and walked away, overwhelmed with anger. Is this what a husband and father is supposed to do? I thought. Suddenly, he barged into the room. "Get me booze now, or who knows what'll happen," he threatened, staggering, clearly drunk. I reluctantly agreed, fearing his wrath if I refused. "Okay, I'll go now." "Thanks," he muttered. I went to a liquor store and returned to find him asleep on the sofa, snoring. I wondered what I was doing for such a man. The only good thing about marrying Tom was having Lily. The joy of our first meeting was long gone. I needed to talk to my mother-in-law soon. As usual, I visited her on the weekend. We had a great time, but when I returned home, Tom was furious. Confused, I asked why he was so angry. "Why are you so angry?" "You know why," the hospital called. "What did you do?" he shouted. "What?" "I did nothing," I replied, bewildered. "Don't lie. My mom collapsed and was taken to the hospital." "That can't be true. She was fine when I left," I said, confused and speechless. Tom hurled more insults at me. "Why do you think I sent you to take care of my mom?" "She was fine when I left the house," I insisted. "You think you can fool me with that lie?" Tom retorted. "I'm not lying," I said, increasingly frustrated with Tom's accusations. Fearing for my daughter Lily's safety, I have been considering asking for a divorce. Housework, childcare, and caregiving are your jobs, right? "I won't tolerate anything half-done," Tom said. "I've been trying my best and will continue to do so," I replied. "You're not doing a good job even now," Tom mocked me. "So what happens if I can't do it?" I fought back. "It's obvious, isn't it? Divorce. And of course, you'll owe me $60,000 in alimony," he said. $60,000. You can't pay that now, can you? You have no choice but to obey me. Why $60,000? It's because of my mom, and besides, you're causing me trouble. It's a fair demand, he claimed. But Tom was greatly mistaken. I was not without money. In fact, I had assets hundreds of times greater than his. Before getting married, I had hidden the fact that I owned 3 buildings. I thought there was no need to hold back any longer. Don't talk about meager amounts like $60,000. I could give you $6 million, I said. What kind of joke is that? You can't pay that much. Are you crazy? He asked. You'll see if we get divorced, I said firmly. Are you serious? You'll be the one in trouble if you divorce me. We'll see about that, I said. The next day, I took Lily and left the house without saying anything to Tom, who didn't try to stop us. I went straight to the hospital where my mother-in-law had been taken. Are you okay? I asked. Julie, you're here. Tom told you I was in the hospital, didn't he? She asked. Yes, he did. Tom exaggerates too much. I've never been strong to begin with, she laughed it off. I felt a bit guilty for feeling relieved. I came today for another reason. You've made up your mind, haven't you? She asked, as if she already knew. Yes, I decided yesterday I couldn't bear it anymore and left this morning. I think that's good. You look more lively now. Really? I asked, surprised by her support. I felt I could share my long-hidden secret with her. I fully support you, Julie. I've made up my mind as well. I was nervous about her reaction. Taking a deep breath, I told her, Actually, I've been hiding something from Tom. Hiding something. Tom always thought I had no money because I didn't work, but that's not true. What do you mean? I inherited real estate from my mother. I'm the owner of 3 buildings. I braced myself for criticism, but her reaction was unexpectedly positive. Wow, that's amazing. No need to hide that. But with Tom. Oh, I see. Tom's views on male superiority were extreme, weren't they? Yes. I realized it might be a problem. But by then, I had already accepted the proposal, I explained. It's hard to say no in that situation. But you're going to tell Tom, right? Yes. I know it's weird to say this in front of you, but no need to be reserved now. Just do what you feel is right. Her words cleared any doubts I had. I planned to reveal everything after the divorce to make him regret it. That's great. I'd love to see his face then. After talking it all out with my mother-in-law, I went back to my parents' house. My mom accepted everything without question. I left Lily with her and started preparing for the divorce. 2 weeks later, the divorce was finalized smoothly. Tom didn't say much then. 3 days later, he confronted me. What did you do? He demanded. What do you mean? My account. There's an insane amount of money in it. Oh, that. It's the alimony I promised you. But $6 million is unbelievable. I had actually transferred $6 million to him. To me, $6 million wasn't a significant amount. I owned luxury condominiums worth millions each unit. Don't worry, it's all my money. That's crazy. If you can't believe it, come to this address. You'll see for yourself, I said, giving him an address before ending the call. About 30 minutes later, I saw him approaching. It was unmistakably Tom. I've been waiting for you. What's at this place? He asked, looking around. Just look around. He looked around. We were standing in a plaza surrounded by 3 buildings. Just a bunch of condominiums. Yes, these luxury condominiums. They're mine. So, what? You live here? No, I own these condominiums. Owner? He still didn't seem to grasp the situation. I've been quiet about it, but I inherited them from my mom. So yes, I own these apartments. You, owner of luxury condominiums? He looked shocked. That's the truth, believe it or not. Since when? Just before you proposed. You hid this all along? Why didn't you tell me? You might not remember, but you were always saying things like a wife should obey her husband and women shouldn't have money. For that reason, I decided not to tell you. That's a big deal for me. He looked frustrated, but arguing seemed pointless, so I decided to end the conversation. Well, it doesn't matter now. We're divorced. It's none of your business anymore. It does matter. You deceived me, so you owe me. I already gave you $6 million. That's not enough. Give me more. There's no way I'm giving you more. Oh, and you should take care of your mom, right? I know that without you telling me. Good, then we have nothing more to talk about. As I was about to leave, Tom called out to me. Wait, just hear me out. Is there more? I really want to go home. It'll be quick. Then make it quick, please. Do you have any intention of starting over with me? No, I answered immediately. Tom's prideful nature meant he could only speak in a condescending tone. If you wanted to start over with me, you'd need to change your attitude first, though that's probably impossible. Tom seemed to be thinking deeply, looking down and then looking up. He said something completely different. Please, let's forget the past. Lily needs a father, doesn't she? Lily will be fine without a father. She probably doesn't even recognize you as one. That might be true now, he admitted, looking defeated. But I truly regret everything, Tom pleaded. I'm not fooled by such acting. You just regret losing the money, don't you? No, it's not like that. I mean it. Tom begged me, but I was tired of it all. I have no expectations from you anymore. Goodbye. I left, laughing. Looking back, Tom hadn't moved. Such a foolish man. He will probably live his life filled with regret. Later, I called my mother-in-law. Hello, Julie. What's up? I actually paid Tom, but I have a favor to ask. I understand. Leave it to me. By then, my mother-in-law had been discharged and was back at home. I asked her to make sure Tom used the money for her house's barrier-free modifications and living expenses. Due to his pride, Tom ended up giving her an amount exceeding $2 million each month. A friend also told me about Tom quitting his job, bragging about having received money. He seems to have quit his job. Really? Yeah, he's been telling people it's because he came into some money. Oh, I see. Did you have something to do with this? Well, just a little. Of course, such actions were unlikely to lead to anything good. He's spending it all on gambling, alcohol, and women. Hardly anything is left now. He truly became a worthless person. Just the other day, he came to my house asking for money. Really? But don't worry, I didn't lend him anything. What is he even doing? It's embarrassing to admit he's my son. Thank you for everything. I'm counting on you in the future. Layli and I moved to one of my luxury apartments. Our life was comfortable, and she was growing up healthily. I still keep in touch with my mother-in-law, and it seems like we'll continue to enjoy our lives.